I'm Elliott Bambrough.
Are you Mother Nature in disguise? Everyone was saying, like, I've got to go and see this tree.
I guess you could call me a tree lover.
And I first saw the trees!
I love their history, their science.
It's like seeing nature's Mona Lisa for the first time.
And the emotional connection people have with them.
Let's go.
And I just started crying.
To a tree that survived so much, it really hits you.
That's why I'm traveling the country in search of these remarkable tree stories.
Oak Ridge Cemetery sits in Illinois' capital, Springfield, on 365 gorgeous, lush acres of land. It's the second most visited cemetery in the whole of the United States, for an obvious reason, Abraham Lincoln. But today, I'm here because of one of its namesakes.
I'd like to introduce you to a storied tree, fittingly named the framing oak, because it's often used by photographers to frame their view of Lincoln's tomb. This tree probably was a sapling during the time of Lincoln's funeral in 1865, and watched over the subsequent construction of his tomb in 1868. And there's no one more qualified to fill me in on this story than arborist and author Guy Sternberg.
And you are clearly someone who I need to speak to with regards to these trees, because you have an incredible connection to this cemetery and to these trees that are all planted here. There's a lot of debate and a lot of talk that I've met with people about this tree being a sapling when the memorial was built. Do you have any more information about what came first, the tree or the memorial?
Well, the tree came first, and there is one old historic photo of the monument being under construction. One of those that I saw was taken from down here, and it shows this little sapling in the foreground. And temporary railroad tracks where they're bringing in rocks and everything were all in the foreground as a big construction site. You never know now to look at it.
There is a fascinating anecdote associated with the building of Lincoln's tomb. It turns out that school children from across the US played a big part in the story. At least that's what tour guide Garrett Moffett told me.
The tomb here, one of the most impressive things about the tomb is how it was paid for. Well, in 1865, school kids across this nation began doing fundraisers and going door to door, collecting change, anything they could to collect money. And so $180,000 is what it cost to build this tomb. And I shouldn't say all the money, but much of that money was indeed raised by school children from Lincoln's time.
So I guess you could say that those kids were saplings themselves when our white oak was planted. White oaks, or Quercus alba, get their name from the whitish color of the underside of their leaves, distinguishing them from other oaks. They grow well in zone 3 through 9.
Something that fascinates me is I've always thought, probably a tiny bit of my own ignorance, that the oaks have flourished, and oaks are something you can find everywhere and anywhere, and there is no problem with a lack of oaks in the country. But I understand that certain oaks, and white oaks in particular, were or have been slightly endangered at some point.
Yeah, there are, I think, 91 different oak species in North America, and of those, 24 are considered federally endangered. Many of them just grow in small habitats in one little place. Some of them are subject to diseases. Some of them are subject to climate change, causing problems. A big old tree like this grew for 200 years or whatever in a stable situation. Now with climate changing all over the map, the trees can't adjust when they're older, and a lot of those are failing now.
But people like Guy are doing something about it. He has worked to propagate acorns from local trees and expand these newly named Lincoln oaks across Europe. He's also working with the cemetery to keep these magnificent oaks flourishing.
And I helped them set up a nursery here, and they would grow them. We had drip irrigation and everything for all these trees. White oaks can live for hundreds of years if they're left alone and if they're tended to when they're young.
Oak Ridge Cemetery is a recognized quercetum, a collection of living oaks. White oaks are imposing giants that can reach 100 feet in height and 50 to 80 feet wide. And white oaks like deep, rich, slightly acidic soil. Their branches provide shade, their acorns feed wildlife, and their deep red to burgundy colors in the fall dazzle everyone who sees them. In fact, every fall, Guy hosts a walking tour where you can see our beautiful framing oak and many others.
It goes to show you that kind of full circle of life, everything that happens here, coming from, Lincoln's death, the kids raising the money, the tree that sits here right now, and long may she continue to sit there with her giant canopy, protecting people, framing photos for years to come. Right now, I just really want to sit down and enjoy the night with her, because it'd be rude of me to leave her. She's by herself. She needs company. Iconic trees are absolutely everywhere, but I want to know where your iconic trees are. Where are the trees that you seek out, that you love and you enjoy? Share them with me. Maybe they'll be here next time on Tree Stories.
Healthy trees increase in value with age. They increase property values, beautify communities, purify air, and save energy by providing shade from summer's heat and protection from winter's wind. Properly cared for, the trees we plant today could live for hundreds and hundreds of years. And of course, have their own stories to tell.
How many vampires did Lincoln kill?
I'm not aware of a single one.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds like a lie to me, because I've seen documented video evidence that he killed many.
Yeah.
Boy, that guy kicked some butt. He could fly and karate kick and was good with an axe.